Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, traders. Steve here at Logic FX Trading, and welcome to our trading room recording on Thursday, the 29th of July, 2021. Well, we had a positive day yesterday, guys, which was really nice to see. And then we had Chairman Powell's decision, or the Fed's decision, on what they were going to do with interest rates and their bond buying program. No shift there, guys. He stuck to his guns and basically said we're going to have to keep stimulating the economy. And the dollar, it kind of went up a little bit, and then it dropped a little bit, and then since it's dropped out of that. Well, I think it's out of that structure that was in. Which, if that continues, I'll be really pleased, guys, because that's kind of what I've been calling for at least 2-3 weeks. So we'll have to see how that goes. It certainly didn't go long. That was the main thing for me. I had a couple of little trades on, dollar trades on, but I put the stops to zero before the announcement came because I said to myself, well, if the market thinks that he's going to start to taper sooner, then this dollar could take off, and then obviously I'd be caught in the wrong direction. So we did get a little spike up, and a few trades stopped out for zero or thereabouts. And I thought, oh my goodness, well, thank goodness that saved me. But then I actually started to listen to what he was saying, and I kept an eye on the chart, and it started to drop again. So I took the risk of getting back in again, guys, and we're now back in a situation where I've got a couple of trades with stop loss at zero, and we're in the green. So if we do get a move down away from that point where I got involved, then we should have a nice trade on there, but we'll see how that works out, guys. I do like trading currencies, guys, but the last few months really hasn't been much fun trying to trade currencies. But you keep working away, and when the time comes around, then you're there and you have the information at hand, and then you're in a position to take advantage of it. And it's the same with stocks, guys. It's the same with anything. You need to be there before it happens to give yourself a chance, which is the reason why we do what we do every single day. Okay, and I would do this anyway, whether I was putting it out or not. This would be the start. And remember, this is the start of the day, guys. This isn't the whole day. Then you need to drill down into individual things and then make decisions on whether you're going to get involved or whether you're not going to get involved, or whether you're going to close a trade. In other words, trade management. There's your analysis, there's getting into a trade, your trade setup, and then there's trade management, guys. And then obviously you've got to manage the account as a whole. Okay, so enough blather. Let's get on with it. So yesterday, as we said, or as we knew, they weren't going to put up interest rates. It'll be probably a year's time before they put up interest rates. The press conference was the big deal. It was 7:30 for me last night. So obviously you're not sitting in front of the computer the whole day, but the computer's on the whole day, Bloomberg's on the whole day, and you're constantly coming back to it and checking what's going on. So we sat down. So it was kind of a 12-hour day yesterday. That's trading, guys. You can either do a 12-hour day, or you can buy a few shares and wait 6 months to see what's going to happen to them. I prefer to be involved in it on a daily basis. So we watched the Fed, and the dollar started to drop. And therefore I've got a direction now. It doesn't mean it's definitely going to continue in that direction, but I'm pretty highly probable, is that the right word? There's a high probability that the dollar will continue to drop from here. And we'll look at the chart in a minute, which for a period of time, maybe a few weeks, it'll give us a direction on the euro and it'll give us a direction on the dollar. So all of a sudden, we've potentially got a lot of trades to look at. And let's hope that happens, because it'll make the next couple of weeks interesting. Employment change in Germany, inflation rate in Germany. Employment figures are looking good. Unemployment down 91,000, forecast 21,000. And the employment rate has actually dropped by 0.1% as well. the unemployment rate, should I say. And then inflation, well, they haven't got those figures in yet. They come in at 1 o'clock. These numbers will be interesting, guys, because if these come in hot, now the Fed's, or not the Fed, the ECB's playing a very cute game as well, and they're saying they're just going to keep supporting the economy, but they need to keep an eye on the figures as well. And if, I know this is just Germany, but Germany is the single biggest driver of the euro, guys, and then France and Italy. Used to be the UK as well, but they're out of it now. Well, sorry, you know what, telling you lies. The UK was never in the euro. So it was always Germany, France, and Italy. It'd be the three big drivers, but particularly Germany. And then US GDP growth rate, yet again, this could be a mover. I mean, forecast 8.5, that's incredible. But basically what Chairman Powell said yesterday was that they're aware that the inflation rate is running high. He says, but we're looking at year over year over year. So what's happening this year? Yes, things are running high. Yes, prices are going up. No, prices probably won't come back down from there, but they won't go up at that rate next year or the year after. So that's what they're looking at, the bigger picture. And I think that was the message that the market went, oh, okay. So you're aware that they're running hot at the minute. You're aware that they will stay there, but they won't continue at that rate. And that was the point. Now, we have to now wait and see if that's true or not. But I think that's the message that got across, is that, yes, they're all running hot at the moment, but next year they won't be. So, yes, we've got this forecast. If this come in even higher than that, you might well see a move up in the dollar where the market goes, well, we don't believe the Fed. This is crazy. Sorry, this isn't interest rate. This is growth rate. But growth as well is another big indicator, guys. We'll have to see what happens there. Now, the other thing is that if this comes in at those sorts of numbers, it could be good for the stocks. Because it'll give confidence to people that the companies are going to continue at this rate of growth. Companies are going to continue to make good profits. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on those as well today, guys. Okay, just quick look at Flipboard. I haven't flipped anything this morning, so what we'll do is we'll just go over to For You. I think that's where we are, isn't it? Yeah. We'll go to For You. So these are the stories that come into my inbox, as it were, and then I would go through them and see if there's anything interesting, and then I'd flip it over to Logic FX Trading. So we'll just have a quick glance at these, get an overview of what's going on out there. Israel tells France, okay, that's nothing. That's the Olympics. Oh, latest shift to tech leaves Cathie Wood's art in the cold. Not sure what that's about. Latest shift to tech. Let me pause you, folks. Okay, so basically what it's saying is that it's this whole story about as we were coming out of the pandemic, or we thought we were coming out of the pandemic, focus changed from growth stocks, which are way overvalued, guys, by the way, into more valuation and cyclicals and whatever. And then you got Delta coming along. So then people are thinking, oh my goodness, is it back into growth? Well, what they're basically saying is that even though there is a bit of a movement back into growth, it's not going into the smaller companies, which is the type of, they're big companies, guys, but it's not into the, is it FANG? What's that word? Anyway, it's not into Google, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and the one other that I can't remember. Those are the ones that are, sorry, it is into those. It's not into the other ones. So even though we're looking at the NASDAQ going up recently, it's heavily weighted by those 5 big companies, guys. The fifth one, which I can't remember, but you guys will be shouting at the screen. So there is still a lag in all of those other growth stocks. So be very careful which growth stocks you're picking, guys. You got to go through it. Do your due diligence. Don't just buy them. Like last year, anything you bought went up, and you're a hero. That's not going to be the case this year, guys. There's been a lot of headwinds, not the whole year. From about February, March time, there's been headwinds, and it's been a battle to stay in the green. So which is the reason why I diversified into miners, into gold, into silver, etc., in case we get this inflation spike, and it's there. And listen, maybe it's not going to happen in 6 months. Maybe it's going to be 12 months, a year down the line, 12 months, 12 months or more down the line. But nonetheless, I think it's better in there in gold than it is in cash, because it will eventually give me a return. Now, it's a different matter if you've used up all of your cash and you're looking for something to buy. You're looking to buy a particular stock and you don't have any cash to do it, then you got to sell something. But at the minute, that's not the situation I'm in. So I'm going to leave those gold stocks on, because I do think gold will come up. I hope it's not a year down the line. I hope it's sooner than that. But it's certainly there. I am in ARK, K, and F. At the moment, they're doing all right. This, Teladoc, we'll talk about that in a moment. We'll talk about Teladoc in a moment. But anyway, I'm getting a bit sidetracked on this particular story, guys. The whole point about running through this is just to let you know that this is the procedure that I go through every single day, and you should be going through if you're trying to, get yourself up to speed and make your own choices. Find out what information's out there, guys, and then read and read and read and read and read, and know the companies that you're investing in. And if you're starting out and you don't know, but you still want to invest, then at least take advice of, all the people that's out there, me included. But then go on and learn what the company is, or the companies that you're investing in, and why their share price is going up. Okay, so we'll move on from here, because this is taking too long. Let's move on. Let me make sure we're not. Yeah, so just flip that one into Logic FX trading. There's Alphabet, Microsoft, Apple. I don't think Starbucks is one of them. Cathie Wood doubles down on Teladoc, Spotify, Shopify. Now, remember, time scale is two different things, guys. I'm trading, with a mixture. We're trying to trade, jump in and out. The likes of these ETFs, they have a 5-10 year outlook, guys. So people are investing in them and saying, well, in 5 years or 10 years time, maybe my money's gone up by 50% or more, hopefully. But, if it were to do 20% a year, it would be fantastic for an ETF, beating the market, guys. So you've got to always remember that these guys and a lot of these stories are a different time scale to what we may be trying to work, guys. But Teladoc is one of my favorites, and I made 23% on a trade on it yesterday. I just got into it. It dropped, and I thought, brilliant, let's add something to my position. And it shot up 23%. And I thought, do you know what? I'm taking that. If you can make 23% in a day, guys, don't hang around, because it'll usually drop from there again anyway. You can buy in again if you want. And if it doesn't, well, so what? You've made 23%. Okay, so before we start, let's go over and look at the account. We were down over 3% yesterday. We've made a nice claw back. It would be lovely to get along with 29th, 30th, 30 days has September, April, June, and November. So with 2 days, today and tomorrow, to try and close this a little bit to get us back on track. Remember, the target's 20% for the year, guys. So we have 5 months to do 10%. This is putting the pressure on, but nonetheless. Okay. Yeah, let's look at the portfolio. Don't know what that noise was I made there. Airbnb I added this week. it's something I've always wanted to get in, and the share price has dropped recently, and I just thought, okay, let's get into it. F and K. Boeing's coming back. They've made a profit for the first time in a long time, guys, and they've got their Max up and running again, so I've bought into that. It hasn't got me into the profit yet, but we're moving in that right direction. Baidu's one of, I started to do a video on it yesterday, guys, and then I got sidetracked, but I will do a video on Baidu and the reason why I'm pretty sure we should be buying it. But don't just jump into it, wait until I make the video. And then it moved up nicely yesterday. One of the trades is now in the green, but it had dropped along with all the other Chinese stocks. But Baidu is essentially Chinese Google, but it's also got automotive. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for, guys? I had made a list of what it was all about. Automated car, the automation system for cars. That's not the right term, guys, but you do know what I'm talking about, surely. The thing that is making Tesla so interesting is it's not just autonomy. Autonomous vehicles, that's the word I'm looking for, guys. So they're into that as well, into AI. A whole host of things are into. So there's no reason that I can see why the Chinese government would do anything to them. The big concern with them is with this trade, I don't think it's a war yet, but this trade struggle that's going on between China and the US, Baidu could be delisted from the NASDAQ, and that would be the thing that would drop the price. Now, whether that's already priced in or not, it's the thing that we need to try and make a judgment call on. So I will do a little video on this. I'll try and do it today, but I want it to be comprehensive, guys. So if it takes a few days to get it out, we will get it out. But I do think that this is worth investing in. And I'm just going through these, guys, because I want to start talking more about shares, or at least half the conversation on the day, each day being about shares, because you can see the vast majority of my account is actually shares and not currencies. That's because of where currencies are at the moment and my understanding of what's going on with them, guys. So you're looking at the whole market. You're not just looking at one thing or the other. Corsair has dropped like a stone recently, but I think it's a great company. We did say 2 or 3 weeks ago, if we look at the share price, that's my share price, not my performance chart, not Corsair. There, because I was in it through here. It's quite the 4 hours. When it dropped through here, I bought into it, and then we got that spike. Brilliant. This isn't running for some reason, folks. Let me pause you again. Okay, this is running now. We got that spike, which I think was a short squeeze. And when it went up like a rocket, I just happened to catch it. I just came, whether it was on my phone or whether it was the PC, I just caught it. And I went, hey, whoa, that's coming back down from there. And I sold out up there. And did quite nicely with it. I can't remember whether it was 20 or 30 or 40% or something that we made in that particular day. If we go to history, we'll see it somewhere. Last 30 days. Nope, that wasn't it. Goodness sake. It's probably sitting right in front of me and I can't see it. Let me pause you again. Sorry, folks. Took me a while to find that. There it is there. 30% and 20%. Now, they were both in the red at the time, so I just closed them out. But it was a nice little return. Remember, we're looking for 5%, guys. But if you get something that just shoots up like that, then it's always nice. A nice little booster. And it covers a lot of the ones that you have to close, for whatever reason. You close them before they hit 5%. Maybe they've been up at 4%. They start dropping. Sometimes I just say, I'm getting out, because I don't like things going back to zero and into the red. That's always a bit demoralizing. And then yesterday as well, we got, I think that's yesterday, is it? Yeah. There was one that stopped, lost out, minus 0.24%, 94 cents or something. And then Fiverr, 27th to the 28th. Yeah, 5% in a day, guys. Just sometimes you get lucky. Teladoc, that was the one. Bought it on the 28th, sold it on the 28th, made 8%. That was a really nice little move there, guys. But that's another one I'm very keen on, but we'll also do a video on that. Recently, we have a national health system here. And ordinarily, if you want to speak to a doctor, you go down or you phone up, you make an appointment, you go and see the doctor. But with COVID, they changed the system, because obviously they didn't want everyone going into the surgery. So you'd phone up and you get a little bit of triage on the phone, and then they would determine whether who you needed to see or what you needed to do. And if they needed a doctor to speak to you, the doctor phoned you back. And then more often than not, the doctor would be able to prescribe you something, or say to you, listen, I need to see you, I'll come out, or you come down. Teladoc. Now, obviously the US is a very different system. It's all private. And that's my understanding of what Teladoc's all about. Get on the phone a doctor, get your prescription. And for me, that's so much easier. Now, obviously, if they needed to examine you, they would then, I don't know if their own in-house doctors, or whether they have probably a system whereby they get a kickback from every time they send you to see a doctor. Don't know, guys, but we'll do the research. We'll find out. Seems like a great idea to me, and the share prices are way down on where it was. So we'll do a little video on that, see what the valuation is, what we think it should be. I think it's a massive growth stock, guys. But when I do the research, maybe it turns out that it's not, because I've kind of got into it without doing as much research as what maybe I should have. But nonetheless, we're doing okay. We're 1.6% down. Let's have a look at the actual chart. Let's have a look at the research. Now, this is just a starter, guys. They're saying it's a moderate buy, but it's 35% below, currently 35% below the average price target, which is not bad. No one's saying sell it. A lot of people saying hold. 60% in this system saying buy it. They're buying. This isn't everything. This is just the start of the process, guys. We go and look at the chart. There, it opened down there yesterday, and I just went, often they'll close the gap. When something spikes down, you get a gap, often price will close it. Even if it ends up continuing down, they'll often close the price before it drops again. And I wanted to add to my position anyway, so I just thought, well, great. But later on, I looked and I went, is this a 4-hour time scale here? Yes, this is 4 hours, guys. So a little later on, I looked and it had come back up into here, and I thought, well, there's a little gift horse. I'm not going to look that in the mouth. So we took the 20 whatever percent it was. And if it drops off again, I'll add to the position again, guys. Okay, so this isn't the time or the place to do an analysis on that, but I will get that out to you. So I'm not big into all this subscribe and hit the bell button and all that nonsense, guys, because I think if you're interested in what I have to say, you'll do it automatically. But if you want to get that, do that bell button thing. I'm not even sure how it works, but hit the bell button wherever it is. Um, I've been on YouTube for, I don't know, since it started, guys, but I'm still not au fait with how to market yourself on it. Doesn't suit my character, to be quite honest. So where were we? Yeah, we were just looking through the portfolio. So let's just do a bit more of that before we go through the charts. And obviously, if you just want to see the charts, guys, just skip forward 10 or 15 minutes. You know how this works. They dropped like a stone this morning, which I'm a little bit disappointed about. But there you go, a minute. It's Credit Suisse. Could still be getting a little bit of a thumping from their Archegos situation, which also could. Baidu was caught up in that, and there could be, or Baidu, there could be a little bit of that in there as well, guys, where the likes of Credit Suisse are maybe still secretly offloading Baidu because they were caught out with it. There was that, and Discovery Channel and Viacom, they all dropped like a stone when Bill Wang was caught out, basically spending money that he didn't have to spend. And when you're worth 20 billion, why would you keep trading, guys? What's that about? Why don't you go and enjoy yourself? I never understood that. Guys, if I was worth 20 million, you wouldn't listen to hear from me. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. No harm, do you like? I'd be on a boat in the Med somewhere, fishing or something. Okay, not going to go through every single one. Got back into lows. It's dropped a little bit, but it's a good company, guys. We'll talk about that later. NIU, that thumped me into the last few days. It dropped like a stone as well, but it will come back up again. They're just not. They're not in flavour at the minute. They're not the flavour of the month. Last year they were. I've made quite a bit of money on both of these over earlier this year, actually. I wasn't trading stocks last year. I got into a little bit of physical gold. Plug, I've made lots of money in Plug over the last year or 6 months, let's call it. Physical silver. Finally get into Peloton. It's come way off its highs, guys. So I'm kind of saying, well, let's just get a wee bit into it and we'll see what happens. Rio Tinto, London and the Nasdaq. Silver, there's Teladoc talked about. US dollar up 3.25%, selling it. And US Swedish krona up 2.76%, both selling. Whitbread's come back. Whitbread dropped drastically, but with the new opening up in the UK, obviously they're starting to get more people through the doors. Whitbread, hotels, restaurants, pubs. So it's doing okay. I think we have one. It's come off this morning, guys, because this was up a little bit more than that. But anyway, not to worry. I'll hang on to it. If we look at the chart, you can see why. I used to work with Whitbread, not for them. I owned a Whitbread pub. It was what you call a pub partnership, where you ran the business, but they owned the building. That was a lot of fun. Didn't make much money, but it was a lot of fun. I need to go a bit further out to see the reason why I'm involved in it. There. That was the drop last year. It's I'm suspecting we'll get a climb like this, up and across and up and across and up and across. I don't know how long I'll hold on to it for, guys, but if I make anything above 5%, I might just take it. We'll have to see. Okay, that is the portfolio at the moment. Let's get over to the charts. Nice little move on the euro yen there. There's the move down on the dollar. So far, let's get it into the 4-hour time scale. So the whole way through here, as it was going up, I said it was going to break short. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. I wasn't overly confident, but I did keep saying, despite the fact that I got the feeling it was going to push up, I said, technically, this needs to drop. and possibly down into the 50% area. Also, technically, for me, it's running flat, and therefore the next move from this sort of area is back down into this sort of area. So we'll have to see how long I hold on to that for. Maybe I'll just take 5%. Maybe I'll hold on to it for a while longer. I've got my stop to zero, so it's a free trade for me now. Okay, so that was nice because I called it short from back over there, guys. Possible ending diagonal. But we had to go through this agony of another couple of weeks before we got it. And that's often the way it is, guys. You forecast something, it happens, but in the meantime, it didn't happen. And what often you'll get is people making comments and going, hey, you said this was going to go short. Well, that's why I've become a little bit more middle of the road with decisions. What I'm saying is, this looks like it's going to do that. I'm leaning in that direction. That's the direction I'm trying to trade it with caution. But, you get some new traders who come in, put 20% of their account on something because you said it was going to happen. And then when it moves in the opposite direction because they've got too high a leverage on it and they lose money, then they blame you. So you need to be careful, guys. But you can see there's my target. And we're kind of halfway there. Okay. Let's just go back and start with the NASDAQ, guys. So the NASDAQ recovered nicely yesterday. What's happening today? Well, the VIX so far is down, so hopefully we'll get a bit more upside to the NASDAQ today, although this is live, isn't it? So it's running kind of flat at the moment, guys. If those GDP figures come in nicely, you could maybe see a nice move up on there. That's still running flat. It's a Dow Jones, by the way. S&P kind of just ran flat yesterday as well. The Nikkei still in that structure. We'll just run through them quickly, guys. Nice little boost up there on the UK index, guys. I think the COVID numbers in the UK is really helping this, because they're dropping. But I would say another week before we'd be sure of that, because as I say every day, they opened up Monday week ago, so it could take 2 weeks for those figures to come through. But if they don't suddenly spike up, then the reopening may well have been successful. So why, if I think it's going to go long, why have I drawn this? Well, that would be the place. If you wanted to trade this instrument, this chart, that would be the place to get involved in a trade. Not necessarily there, guys, but from a point of view of UK stocks, they are moving long today. French also moving long, which is a good sign, because chances are the American market will move as well, guys. German, not so much. What was the German employment figures were good, weren't they? Unemployment figures, so would have thought that you'd have got a bit more up in the German. There's a nice little recovery off the downside on the Chinese. It did say it will continue up. I think it will continue to climb from here, guys. We were looking for a zigzag. Do you remember? We had that. Now, that turned out to be an awful long period of time. As it moved there, we did have our doubts, but I continually said I wouldn't get involved in this chart unless we saw the other side of the zigzag. Now, does that mean I'm going to trade this? No. But the reason we talk about it is, from an analysis point of view, it shows you how the system works. That yes, if you'd have waited for that to happen and it took off there, you would have missed the trade, whatever chart it was. But if you'd have got involved long there, you would have ended up losing money, guys. And remember, when you're trying to trade, there's two sides to the argument, or two sides to the coin. One is you don't want to lose money, and the other side is you want to make money. So where you get involved is very much part of the not losing money side. And if you miss, in other words, if you didn't get involved here and it took off, it doesn't matter, guys. Don't worry about it. Another bus will come along, another trade will come along. It doesn't matter. What would be worse would be to get involved there and end up down there and stopped out. I don't know if any of you watch soccer, football. I've been watching football my whole life. Support a great team. We'll not mention who they are, but really good team. The best as far as I'm concerned. That's besides the point. The point about a good football team is you will not win the league if you're shipping goals. So a good football team starts with a good defence, and a good defence is nil. And then it's up to your forwards to get 1 or 5 if they can, but 1's enough, so long as you have nil. So your defence is the single most important side of building a successful football team, because if you're not shipping goals, the chances are you're at least going to get 0-0. And if you've built on this, then 1-0. Now, there was a saying back in the 70s, or maybe it was the 80s, when Arsenal were the best. It's not my team, by the way. When Arsenal were the best team for a long, long time, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Boring as anything from a spectacle point of view, but from a supporter's point of view, every week they got 3 points because they didn't ship any goals, and they used to score 1 goal and then defend like crazy, and they got their 3 points, and they used to win the league an awful lot of the times. Now, obviously, other teams play more dynamic football, but you need a good defence. What am I going on about football for, guys? Because when you're trading, you need a good defence. Because there's no point in getting, so what's the word? What am I looking for? There's no point in scoring 3% one month and then losing 6% the next month. Or scoring 10% in a month and then going down to 15% the next month, guys. Because if you're trading in such a way that you're making 10% in a month, you're leaving yourself wide open to lose 10, 15, or 20% the next month. And if you go through eToro and you look at a lot of people's accounts, sometimes you'll see someone with a negative annual return, but they've had a really good month somewhere in the middle of that. But then they've had a really disastrous 2-3 months following. So to get all of that out of it, get a good defence, be careful of when you get involved, manage your trades, don't be greedy. And then if all ships, if the tide's coming in other words, if the whole market's going up, then you'll catch some of it, and then you'll look like a hero. But you're not trading for 1 year, guys. You're trading for hopefully the rest of your life. So because last year went up like a rocket, doesn't mean that this year, next year, the year after will. So you need to learn to trade when markets are bad as well as when they're good. Oh, got it all going today, haven't we? Hang Seng. Look at the recovery in the Hang Seng. I'll not actually take that off. Nice little recovery on it. Said there'd be a recovery on it. Unfortunately, I didn't actually get into anything in it because I just didn't know enough about it. But there was a nice recovery on it, guys. Aussie, maybe it's going to break out now, but yet again, for all the reasons said, if this chart were to drop to there, that would be the place to get involved. I don't trade the indexes. You can trade them, but I don't trade them. But yet again, if it were to drop there, then maybe you go into the Aussie exchange and look for some bargains, guys. This is breaking out long. That probably isn't going to happen anytime soon. Not sure what's going on with this. Let me refresh it, folks. Where were we? Oh yeah, we were still up here, weren't we? Russell. Yeah, I'm trying to get rid of that. There you go. Excuse me. Looks to me like it's going to break out long, folks. Unfortunately, I can't trade the Russell. That's our move on the dollar so far. Nice. Hopefully it continues in that direction. The euro, obviously, we said it would break out in the opposite direction, but we didn't know which direction it was going to go, but we can take that one off now. So it's broken out long. The pound, broken out long. Yet again, we weren't sure. You know, sometimes you're going to be more sure than others, folks. I would claim that as a victory, but a very tentative victory, because I did trade it, but I wasn't gung-ho about it. New Zealand, US, I think that'll break out and go long, provided the dollar continues to drop. There's the little breakout there for the CAD. That'll probably continue down. This is the one that we're in. Hopefully that'll continue short. Not so sure about the yen, so I'll leave it alone. Oh, there's a nice one there. Yeah, probably will continue. If you're in it, put your stop to 0 and then cross your fingers that it continues down. If you're not in it at this stage, guys, I would wait and see if you're going to get a setup to drop it again. China, big reverse. Excuse me. Yeah, which is the reason why I was saying I'm not sure about this one, so don't be bothering with it. Gold. Oh, a nice move up in gold. Ooh, that's nice. Hopefully that continues, guys. Now, obviously that's going up because gold's priced in dollars. Dollars dropping, therefore you need more dollars to buy gold. Therefore the gold price goes up. I hope the dollar continues to drop because that will do wondrous things for my account. It was up about 10% in gold and silver, and there's the silver gone as well. And you can see I have been saying trade it long, could drop further, but the trade is long. Bitcoin. Yeah, I've got Coinbase. There it is up there. I've got an account in Coinbase. About $1,000 in it, guys. So I'm not going to get rich with it. But, you know, I wouldn't like to see it going to $60,000 again and not be involved. That's the only reason I'm getting involved. It's FOMO, which you should never do, guys, but it's the fear of missing out. So I've fired a little bit of money into it. Oil and Ethereum as well is moving up. Oil's moving back up. Continued to move up, should I say. I can't see it going long at the moment. It'll settle in here somewhere for a while, guys, and then eventually it'll start going up as the economies continue to get up to speed again. And obviously as we get into the Northern Hemisphere winter and people start burning a lot more fuel. EuroCAD, bit of I'd said not to trade this one, guys. And the reason being is that I don't know. It's been doing this. Yes, we got a little impulse up there. It could end up just running flat again because the CAD's getting a boost and the Euro's getting a boost. So they're balancing each other out. So I couldn't tell you which way that's going to go. Euro was a little bit the same, guys. If it were to come down a little bit, then given this channel, maybe you trade it back up the channel. Other than that, I wouldn't trade it. Euro New Zealand. Do you really want to trade that? The thing with something like this is, guys, if you know if you have an inkling, an underlying inkling that price is eventually going to do that, then this is great trading because, you know, first of all, your downside risk is minimal. But it's only if you know that it's going to go long, guys. And there are times when you kind of get that, 80%, this is going to go long. Because then you get in. I did this in the CAD Swiss earlier in the year. You get in, it moves up. You know, you take a small return. I don't know if that would give you a full return or whether you'd have to wait, go through all of this and then get your return there. But you're getting in and you're getting out. And then maybe you get caught in that. That's okay because you get out again when it comes back up. You're getting in, you're getting out. Maybe you're caught through this, a bit of a hairy time, then you're back in. So, but when it's ranging like that, whether it's a flat range or whatever that is, an inclining range, You can jump in and out, but you do need to have a very tight and disciplined trading strategy with it, but you can make money out of it. The important thing is that you don't make all of that money and then lose it when eventually it breaks out in the wrong direction. So that's why you need to know the direction that it's going to eventually break out in. And at the moment, I don't know with this, and that's why I'm saying don't bother trading it. With the CAD, and we'll look at it in a moment. Let's just look at it now while it's in my head. With the CAD Swiss going back, from here, I knew it had only one direction to go, which was long. So I traded it long. Obviously, for a month or so, I was wrong with it, but we held on in there and stop losses down below there, and then getting it correct. Now, the problem came when that happened, because the whole way through here was taking 5%, guys. So when it moved from there to there, it took my 5%, and then it did this. So ultimately, I missed out on the impulse, but I did really well the whole way through there. So I didn't get upset about missing out on that, guys. If it had dropped from here and it was moving in a more impulsive manner, then I might have got in and added to the position and let it continue to grow. The point I'm making is, if it travels like that, then you need a different trading strategy than if it's moving like that. And the underlying fundamentals should give you an idea of which of the two it's going to do. And if you don't know, then you don't trade it. Simple as. Where were we? Euro New Zealand, Euro Yen. I suspect this is going to break out long, guys. Yeah. Don't know if I want to trade it or not. Euro Swiss. Well, when we were here, I kind of drew these and said, listen, there could be more downside to this, particularly if the gold price increases. So this was a little bit of a double whammy. Yes, the euro should go long because the dollar's going short, but the Swiss should go long because the gold price is going long, which is going long because the dollar's going short. So you have to understand the relationships, guys. So because of that, I'm kind of going, well, at the moment, I'm going to leave this alone. Pound CAD. I don't like trading against the CAD, guys. It's just my thing. I don't like trading against it. And I could be wrong on that, but maybe this pushes on up to the top of that channel. Maybe it doesn't. I also don't like trading in the middle of a channel, because from the middle, price will either go back to the top or it will drop to the bottom. If it's in the bottom, it can climb back to the top, or if it's at the top, it can drop back to the bottom. But when it's in the middle, it's so easy to get the wrong direction on it, guys. Look, the last time it came up into the middle, look what it did. Come up into the middle that time, it did the opposite. Come into the middle this time, it spiked up and then dropped down again. So we're in the middle, leave it alone. Pound Oz. Okay. This is one of those ones that we talked about it the other day, and I said, listen, it's at the top of the channel. This isn't a place we'd get involved, although it could break out. But what I would do is wait for it to drop back into the channel and then try and trade it long. In other words, as I was basically saying with this, that I think the trends are going to continue long, but that's not a place to get involved. Now, you can turn around and say, yeah, but you got that wrong, Steve. But it's not about getting one trade right or wrong, guys. It's about hundreds of trades over the year, and thousands of trades over the decade, that if you use that strategy, whereby you're at the top of a channel and you're going to trade out that way, well, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get it wrong, guys. Wait for it to drop back down. And if it does, then trade it. And if it doesn't, forget about it. Go and look at the next chart. Pound yen, or New Zealand. Well, obviously it's moving the same direction as the Aussie, because that's what it does. But if you remember, and you can see there, when we were back down here, I did say it was going to break out long. There's the arrows, guys. That's where you should have got involved in it, because it had spiked up, and at that point I said, well, if it drops again, we'll trade it long. Well, it dropped and it's gone long. I didn't trade it as such, but you can see we got the forecast right. Pound Swiss. Not with the gold price going long at the minute, guys. It could go long, but not at the minute. Pound Euro. Also, I'm a little bit concerned about this one with the dollar dropping. The euro should be getting a little bit of a boost. And the pound for me at the minute is long. So I would take that arrow off and say, well, if it dropped back down, maybe you could trade it that way. But I probably wouldn't trade it. I tend not to trade the pound euro. Pound yen. It's come up nicely, guys. I can't remember when I drew that arrow, but no doubt I was indicating when it was down here that that's the direction I was looking to trade it. I think it'll continue there, but yet again, because of everything we just said, that's not a place to get involved, guys. If it were to drop again, that would be your trade. Let me just move this out of the way. Aussie yen, I think that'll go long. Oops, Aussie New Zealand. Yeah. Hold on, I'm saying yeah. Possible ending diagonal on there, guys, but the last time I tried to trade this, I got stung, so I'm a little bit wary of it at the moment. Aussie Swiss. Same story as with the other Swiss trades, guys. Gold's going long. I don't particularly want to trade the Swiss long, but I also am not going to try and trade against it. Aussie CAD. That's another one that I'm wary of trading. They're very similar economies, guys. I'm pretty sure the Canadian economy is bigger, but that's got nothing to do with anything when it comes to exchange rates. But they're both commodity based, and so the same things move, generally speaking, move in both. Obviously, Australia doesn't have oil. CAD yen, Swiss yen, sorry. Yeah, well, there's a possibility that's going to go long. So I would take that out. Now, the reason for that was technical. And also because of that, I'll probably not trade it, because there is still the possibility from a technical point of view that would drop to there. But fundamentally, if the gold price is going to continue to go up, then this should push on up and maybe even break that top. CAD Swiss we've already looked at. I think that's over. Same story. No, not if gold price is going up. CAD yen, maybe that's a better trade there. New Zealand yen, also possibly long. New Zealand CAD. And a lot of this may depend on that GDP rate today, guys. If it comes in nice, you'll see the stock market's moving long. You'll see money moving out of cash into the American stock market, and you could see a drop in the yen. New Zealand CAD, don't like trading it. New Zealand Swiss, same story. Same story. I think eventually it'll go long, guys, but if the gold price goes long, then that will not come off. So I'm a little bit wary of that. Okay, guys, as usual, far too long, but there's lots of good stuff in there if you have the patience to listen. I'll be back on tomorrow. I'll try and get that Baidu, B-A-I-D-U, Baidu out. And Teldocs, the other one I'll do possibly today, but certainly by Monday I'll have those two out, guys. And I want to try and do one of those daily, but I need to get a system running whereby I can pick up on it and do it quickly. Okay, that'll do for today, guys. Happy hunting. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell button. Bye for now.